It's going.
Oh, we're live. All right, without further ado, welcome everybody. Thank you guys for coming out. I know it was a holiday weekend for Savannahans, St. Patrick's. But at any rate, this is Miss Coach Carin Roberts. She is one of my mentors. She knows everything you need to know about nutrition, supplements, so don't hold back on questions. The closest thing to a doctor that you can get to is this lady right here. So anything that you've been wanting to know, any questions that you may have, I'm sure that she has the answer. So the spectacular Coach Carin Roberts.
Thank you. I am actually a certified wellness consultant. I'm also a health coach. What that means is that I help health professionals implement wellness solutions into their practices. So, everyone has their feelings, about their health professionals. Some people feel like sometimes when you walk in and say, this is going on, this is going on, this is going on, they'll prescribe to you, right? And some people don't want to be prescribed to, or they want me to take another pill, things like that. What we have to remember is that doctors practice medicine, okay? So they are going to take a compilation of your symptoms, they are going to take a blood test, and they are going to try to figure out what medication will match up with your symptoms and hopefully get rid of your symptoms. What I do as a wellness consultant, we talk about the same things. What's going on? Your body is always speaking to you, telling you things. When I was 10 years ago, for 4 years, and I was paying $850 a month for health insurance because I'm self-employed, and I was personal training clients at both of my world gyms. Now we have 5 Fit Body boot camps in Syracuse, just because we're a transformation studio. Now I understand as a health coach and a wellness consultant, it's not just exercising. People were overtraining and under-eating. So the first thing that I'm teaching people is how to eat better. An 80-20 rule, not about being perfect, but in your everyday life, we want to keep, you have a structure now, you're on a diet now, you have go-to meals for winter and for fall and for summer, right? So we just want to change those into more nutrient-dense foods that are fueling your body, because that is really what is changing your body on a cellular level. You're building your body from the inside out, okay? So by the time we get to the outside, we have to make sure that your insides are breaking down your food and absorbing your nutrition. So that's why a section of my Wellness 101 is digestive health. That's one of my specialties in our company. They call me BMW, Bowel Movement Woman. People are either pooping or not pooping. What I really talk about is homeostasis. But then, like I said, your body's speaking to you in different ways through symptoms, but you don't know what to do with that information, right? Or sometimes we just don't want to deal with that information and we just want to make it go away. I know by the time I started taking all of my education to become a wellness consultant, I was so frustrated. I was going to the doctor, paying $25 copays. My blood tests were coming back normal for my thyroid, but I had no energy. I had a chronic tennis elbow and inflammation. That's where my inflammation came out. And your inflammation comes out in different ways in your body. For my mother, it was migraine headaches. For my sister, she had irritable bowel syndrome. I struggled with constipation all my life, and I didn't even know it was a problem because it was so long ago from when I was a child that it was just normal to me, right? I didn't know I was supposed to go to the bathroom every single day. And so those are things that I talk to people about. And, my husband, it was his knees and his hips. So inflammation is going on in people. Sometimes it's diagnosed health challenges like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, gout, diabetes. Those are all caused by inflammation in our body. So, the great thing about these lifestyle health challenges is when you're diagnosed with them, it's not like you're a victim. This happened to you. We can go into your body and help to decrease inflammation, bring it back to homeostasis, right? Inflammation is actually in your body for a reason, to protect it. But when you have chronic inflammation going on, that is unhealthy, right? So we have to bring that back in balance. And that's really what I talk to about everything. When I talk about fat loss, that is getting your body in the environment to build muscle, because your muscle is your metabolism. Your metabolism is your energy, and your energy is your life. Your metabolism is the energy you have to give to your life every single day. So when we go to our health professionals and they say, oh, you're turning 40, your metabolism's going down, you're going to gain 10 pounds, or you're turning 50. Well, that means your life is going away, because that's your energy, right? So, and our body just tends to not want to build quality muscle as we age. Things decline, like our digestive processes. So they might need a little help. By the time people get to the point of a disease, we not only have to eat well, exercise, sometimes people don't have the energy to exercise. And, so sometimes when I'm starting with people in health professional offices, their body is working against them so much that if they started exercising first before we fix their nutrition and get some quality nutraceuticals in to start repairing their body on a cellular level, if they started exercising first, their immune system is so impaired that they get sick when they exercise. And that used to happen to me because I had impaired adrenals, which 10 years ago, they didn't really talk about impaired adrenals. Even the product in my wellness company, all of our products they aren't a manufacturer. We have doctors and scientists studying double-blind placebo studies. So everything is manufactured with the exact ingredient from a double-blind placebo study, and they're put through the same stringent processes as pharmaceuticals. Even though they don't have to do that as a nutraceutical company, it's not regulated by the FDA. Every single supplement is put through that. So because we do have a medical wellness division, and doctors I work with a lot of more holistic health doctors who sometimes you need a pharmaceutical to get a health challenge in check. Because you have symptoms going on that are going to cause, maybe a heart attack or, something tragic, right? So we need to get on the pharmaceutical to get it in check, and then go in with nutrition and a quality nutraceutical to start getting your body repaired on a cellular level, so we can work your way off that pharmaceutical. Like some people are taking things like Prilosec and 24-hour antacids and things every day, thinking they're going to take those for life, and they don't understand the dangers in taking things like that. They think if I can buy it on the shelf and it's over the counter, it's safe, right? But it isn't safe. And I'm going to talk about the difference between a pharmaceutical and a nutraceutical. And what I love about nutraceuticals is that you can go in synergistically, usually with a pharmaceutical. Some herbal things I don't mix with pharmaceuticals, and I'll just touch on that lightly. But always, consulting with your health professional. This is actually what led me in the door, because I was working in my gyms, and my clients, I wasn't doing blood tests, and I was just taking weight, measure body fat, and nutrition, and then people were going to their health professionals and they were getting off their high cholesterol, their high blood pressure meds, all these things, and their doctors were like, look, what, keep doing what you're doing, but what are you doing? And that is when I realized, when I started being led into these health professional doors, that they don't get any nutrition in there at all of those years of education. And things are changing so quickly. Once they go to school and become a doctor and they have all this overhead and insurance, and it's hard for them to go back to school and stay updated on things. And that's what we do as wellness consultants. So I am going to start by going through essential nutrients that your body needs, okay? And if you can't make it, you got to take it. So, and that's what essential means. Your body isn't making these things naturally. So it's something just to fill in the gaps. So when people say, I don't know where to start, first, in a consultation, I would talk about, do you have any diagnosed health challenges? Is there one thing, what one thing about your health would you want to go toward? Maybe it's getting back energy to live your life, right? Or maybe it's maybe your elbow hurts every day, things like that, because that's quality of life. And that's really what we talk about. And it's a progression of your body is so amazing, and it will heal itself when it's given what it needs to do that. So essential nutrients, I'm going to start with a multivitamin. A quality multivitamin. I used to clip coupons. I took tons of supplements while I was sick for all those years. I knew I wasn't, perfect and eating totally healthy, but I didn't understand about quality, and I didn't understand about absorption. So these vitamins are not uphill. I work with so many people on digestive health challenges. If your body is not breaking down food and absorbing those nutrients, why would you think you would take a pill and that your body's going to break down a pill and absorb that? So how many people have taken a pill form multivitamin and it makes you feel sick? Yeah, okay. Well, that is because it's sitting there in your stomach. It's calling on stomach acids to break it down. It can take 4 hours. It can take, it can take a long time. It can come out whole, quite frankly. And I have a slide from a health professional who did a scan of someone's body, and it shows pharmaceuticals and nutraceuticals past the point of absorption in people's colon. So our vitamins are a powder. You mix with 2 ounces of liquid. You drink them first thing in the morning, even before you brush your teeth. And it bypasses your stomach acids, and it absorbs in your lower intestines. There's a little pocket for each nutrient in your lower intestines where each vitamin absorbs into. So when we show that slide, and you can read Centrum or 1 a day on the pill still past the point of absorption, you have just flushed your money down the toilet, right? So the first thing I tell people is, if you add something into your life and you say, I don't feel great and I'm going to try this, well, let's feel a difference, okay? So I want to make sure that you're feeling a difference. That's why I like to get people's nutrition at least semi in check. So, because we're kind of like, I used my body as a scientific experiment when I was sick. I was sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. So I was like, okay, I'm going to eat, like we say in TLS, fiber and protein at every meal, 5 to 6 meals a day. I actually was skipping meals by accident. I was working through my lunch, and then I got home and I was starving, and then I felt like I could eat the kitchen sink, and I did, and nothing good was going down. Whatever was on the counter was going down. I felt like an out of control person. Those are just hormones. My leptin and ghrelin hormones were way off. Those are the ones you get signaling from your brain to be hungry, which they were turned on at night, or to be full. Actually, I wasn't hungry in the morning, so I wasn't eating breakfast very often. But really, you're supposed to feel starving in the morning for breakfast. So that's really a hormone, but we can train, get those hormones back to homeostasis. We actually have a product that helps to do that in 8 weeks, which is called CORE, because it would take a whole year of eating healthy, eating those 5 to 6 meals a day to regulate those hormones back into balance on their own. And some people just don't have that stick-to-itiveness, and they keep fighting off those carbohydrate cravings and things like that. So we have a health product with a study behind it. to help regulate those, and that is in our fat loss line. And it also helps to decrease inflammation, and it also helps to lower blood cholesterol without the use of a statin drug, which that's why my health professionals love that core product. We label it in the fitness center as a fat burner, which it does, because it doesn't allow your body to utilize muscle for fat. So it keeps your body in fat burning mode and keeps your insulin level stabilized. So I'm going to start with these essential nutrients though. The first one being a multivitamin. Now there's regular multi, and there's multi with iron. So any woman who is menstruating should be taking a multi with iron. I think we got something in our brains that iron causes constipation. I think we got that like with babies, right? You give babies formula with iron, and we think that constipates them. We have a non-constipating form of iron in our multivitamin. Now, a sign of low iron is heart palpitations, low energy. If you have a hard time keeping your stamina, that's a sign of low iron, because not only I'm menopausal at this point, but I have always struggled with digestive health challenges. Anyone who's had gastric bypass usually has to have an iron shot, because when you're extremely low in something, your health professional is going to give you a shot. That is the quickest way to get something into your bloodstream, is to give you a shot. Now, I hate shots, right? So I'm always going to choose this shot over this shot, right? And the other thing is you have to keep going back to get it. So make sure that you're having your iron checked. Because sometimes low iron is misdiagnosed as anxiety because of those heart palpitations. But if you feel like you just never have that energy, that might be one of the reasons. And a good multi is just going to bridge the gaps, because we tend to eat the same foods over and over again, right? We eat the same thing for breakfast, and even if it's good, we're missing some vitamins, especially minerals, that support your thyroid and things like that. I'm going to go through the 4 individually, but we actually have essentials, which is a great way for people to start. So the next one, I don't have it up here, is calcium. Men and women need calcium in their body. People think they get calcium from milk, but actually you're getting your calcium from your green leafy vegetables. We, in the United States, we eat the most dairy out of any country, and we have the highest instance of osteopenia and osteoporosis. So obviously the dairy isn't helping with that. Actually, by the time they pasteurize dairy, the molecule is so large that your body can't even break it down and absorb it. So dairy's an industry, and they're marketing to us, got milk and, strong bones and teeth and all these things. Milk also has growth hormone in it. Now, babies need that, right, because they're growing. But if we are an adult with a cancer cell in our body, we don't want to be drinking growth hormone, right? So staying away from traditional milk that has antibiotics in it, which we're supposed to be staying away from as well, because they're making these cows overproduce milk. So then they're giving them antibiotics. So they tell us not to have our doctor give us one, right? But then it's in our milk. So instead, just take a quality calcium. Now, 1,200 milligrams is what a health professional will tell you need as your recommended daily allowance, but your body can only absorb 400 milligrams of calcium in a sitting, okay? So you can't take a 1,200 milligram pill. So our calcium is 375 milligrams, and it also has magnesium. Calcium acts as for skeletal contraction. Magnesium is for muscle relaxation, and it also has a quality vitamin D in it. All 3 of those things need to be there for absorption, okay? So if you get leg cramps all the time, it's not eat a banana. A banana is really just sugar. It's not the potassium. It's that your body needs magnesium. And that is actually, there's more magnesium extra in our women's health supplement. For men, we use our regular daily essential supplement because that one doesn't have iron. The Women's Health actually has extra Bs, which I'm going to be speaking about next. So vitamin B is essential as well. 3 things deplete your vitamin Bs. Stress, who has stress in their life? And so sugar with a kick, which is alcohol, all 3 of those things deplete vitamin Bs. Now there's 3 B vitamins. There's a gene that most people have in their body called MTHR, FR, that makes it so your body can't absorb 3 of the vitamin Bs. One of them is B12. You know how elderly people get B12 shots for energy? That's because they have that gene and their vitamin D is critically low. So our vitamin D is not only isotonic, but it's in the activated methylated form of Bs. So what B does, actually if you're low in B1, which deals with neurotransmitters in the brain, it's one of the biggest causes of stroke, and B5 actually helps to metabolize your proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. So if you have poor digestion, a lot of times that's because your activated Bs are low. A sign of low B is neuropathy, tingling in your fingers and toes. So if you get that numbness in your fingers and toes, you're low in vitamin B. If you do have an alcoholic beverage, just take an extra cap of B and then you won't have the headache the next day. That headache is caused by low B vitamins. Not to enable people, but I hear it's a pretty partying weekend this weekend. So, and I always tell my daughter who's in her 20s, go have fun, but don't waste the whole next day laying on the couch, right? So get up, get busy. And the problem with stress, what do people do when they're stressed out? They eat sugar and they drink alcohol, right? So this is a downward spiral with Bs, and a lot of people are critically low because they start craving the things that lower it even more, right? So when you fill in just with a good quality B vitamin, you'll be amazed at how good you feel and how much. So everyone thinks of B as energy, right? But it's because it's not like a stimulant energy like coffee. It's because it's helping your nutrients break down and absorb. It's helping with neurotransmitters in the ADD, ADHD. If you have a hard time focusing, activated Bs, okay? And that magnesium that I spoke about in Daily Essentials, that helps with muscle relaxation. But if you're a type A person who's always like this and anxiety and stress, you need to be consuming magnesium. And there's extra magnesium in the Women's Health supplement. So like I said, it's a muscle relaxation. Well, your colon is a muscle. So someone who's chronically constipated all day probably has a lot of stress and they're like this all day. And that is why your colon isn't relaxing. And then you have a hard time going to sleep at night. You might have migraine headaches. We use magnesium for migraine headaches as well because those capillaries are all tightened up. We want them to relax, right? The other thing that is an essential nutrient, and it has to be separate, is because it is fat-based, is vitamin D. I hope everyone has had their vitamin D checked. Our vitamin D has K2 because it drives it right into the cell. Now, a lot of times your health professional, if they find that you're low in vitamin D, and actually this month and next month is when our vitamin D is lowest. Now, I come from Syracuse. You get vitamin D from the sun. We have no sun for 6 months. I know everyone's chronically low in Syracuse, and low vitamin D is actually a precursor to autoimmune diseases. I was wondering in Syracuse, like so many of my clients had MS, rheumatoid arthritis, impaired adrenals. Vitamin D is actually a hormone. So we make sure that when you're tested we have people come in with levels of 2 vitamin D, and it's supposed to be between 40 and 60. So if we'll use the prescription form first, which is a 50,000 IU, but if we can't get that vitamin D up within 3 months into the normal range, my health professionals say it's time to bring in the big guns, the isotonics. And get your vitamin D up to a normal level. It will give you energy. People think of low vitamin D as depression, but really those autoimmune diseases, lupus, so many things are affected by low vitamin D. And the last essential is omega-3s. So everybody has heard of omega-3s, but you want to make sure, because there's a lot of poor quality omega-3 fish oils out there. They're actually even using tuna oil to fortify babies' food, because everyone is hearing the buzzword of we need more omegas, right? Even postpartum women, the postpartum is usually caused by a low omega, because your brain is made of 80% fat, and a baby is going to take what it needs from the mother, which depletes her, and most of us are already low in omega-3s. Also, think of the Tin Man. Omegas are going to lubricate your joints and lower inflammation. And then the last thing in the daily essentials that is also in the women's health is our OPC3 product. So when we talk about inflammatory health challenges, everyone's heard of antioxidants, right? And I think this might be this is definitely on your sheet. This is actually our best-selling product because it is not a blood thinner. It actually helps to decrease inflammation on a cellular level. My mother and I, we take 3 caps of this every day. Once you're in a state of chronic inflammation, I'll go in with 3 caps with 6 ounces of water every morning. It takes 3 days to kick in. And so you feel a difference right away wherever your inflammation is coming out in your body. Now, if your body is constantly fighting inflammation, it's not going to choose build muscle and burn fat. So, and because we're causing more oxidative stress when we're working out, OPC3 is something, or essentials, that I always have people start with, because we have to keep inflammation low. So when you think of high cholesterol, digestive challenges, high blood pressure, that's those little capillaries. You just aren't getting that flow. So when you lower inflammation, you increase circulation, and that's what we need. So you know how when you cut open an apple and it turns brown? That's just oxidative stress. And that's where powerful antioxidants that you've heard of, like berries, blueberries, things like that, but you can't eat enough of a quantity of those. This is very concentrated. So this is something I have people try right out of the gates, because you're going to have more energy when you have an increased blood flow as well. So that would, you also get a lot of great energy just from taking a daily essentials every day. Did you, oh, okay, good.
I don't put the numbers.
So, and also like immune function, and I'm going to talk about immune function because that was the number one thing that was circled on here. Let's see, energy. So, you know, we spoke about that, just getting your essential nutrients in and eating enough food every day, okay? I do have a couple coffee replacements because unfortunately coffee dehydrates you and it actually can cause constipation. It causes inflammation in your body. It leaches calcium from your bones. So I used to drink tons of coffee because remember I had no energy with my impaired adrenals. My engine was broken. And that is what regulates your thyroid. So I thought I had thyroid challenges because I had no energy. I was getting sick all the time. My immune system was definitely impaired. When I would exercise, I would get sick. But it was, my immune system was impaired. I wasn't eating enough food. So when people say they feel logy in the afternoon, I know that they haven't eaten enough in their first 3 meals of the day. So you want to power pack your first 3 meals with quality protein. That's going to rev up your metabolism. first thing in the day, where a lot of people aren't eating enough and then they're eating more later in the day. Well, we're slowing down later in the day. We aren't getting busier, right? So it's harder for your body. Your digestion slows down later in the day as well, which is the next thing that we're going to speak about. I like to start my clients with our 7-day cleanse, just to give their body a clean slate, because I know people are waiting to see if a celiac test becomes positive, or what they're allergic to, things like that. And a blood test is fine, but it's just a snapshot in time. I'd rather do an elimination diet, and we eat plenty of quality food. How many people have used the 7-day cleanse? Okay, so I lose 5 to 7 pounds during cleanse week, but that isn't why I cleanse. It's because I have more energy by the end of the week. When my body starts feeling bogged down and lowy and I eat pretty well, maybe I've been on a vacation and drinking margaritas, and I still want margarita. Sugar takes a hold of you, or bread, things like that. Bread and pasta were my sugars of choice. But it just puts you back in the driver's seat. It gives you a clean slate. It gets your colon cleaned out, but it's not aggressive like a colonoscopy. I'm actually getting my first colonoscopy next Monday, so if anybody has any tips. But so people ask me that all the time, but it is not like it's not whooshing everything. It's just it's going to scrub your colon. Sometimes your villi have gotten matted down because you've eaten gluten, which is glue, and things like that. So even if you start eating well and your villi is matted, you're not getting the absorption of your nutrients, and that it's all about absorption. The L-glutamine that is in the fiber powder that I actually use daily, not just during cleanse week, fuels your muscles. I was having a hard time building muscle when I had impaired adrenals. So the first thing is getting people back to where their body is building muscle and burning fat while you're eating healthy. And then prebiotics and probiotics, which are getting your body back in balance, because a lot of people now are hearing about their microbiome. You have thousands of gut bugs in your stomach. Each one of them has their own DNA. And a lot of people have built up bad bacteria or yeast in their systems. So we want to give your body a clean slate and get it scrubbed and on a level playing field. So then when you add things back in, then you'll know how it makes you feel. It's not a matter of waiting for a blood test to see if something's wrong with you, or if you're sensitive, or if you're allergic to something. You know how you feel. So when I removed gluten, when my mother removed gluten, we slept better. We had more energy. I have a before picture of my mom and I, and neither of us had waist. I thought genetically we didn't have waist in our family. But it was bloating. My ankles used to swell all the time. If I was walking and I thought I was dehydrated or something, it was gluten. Gluten, it's one of the major causes of women not being able to get pregnant, which I deal with a lot of girls with hormonal imbalances now, and just digestive challenges in general. Whether someone has irritable bowel syndrome or is chronically constipated, our fiber powder helps to bring your body back in balance. I know a lot of people with IBS are afraid to eat fiber, but if you do your research and look it up, fiber is what all the bad bacteria attaches to, and then it will be removed and expelled from your body. So you need to make sure that's why I'm so afraid of this colonoscopy prep. The prep is like eating, flour foods and white, all these foods I don't even eat in my life. I'm afraid how my body's gonna respond to them. Complete greens. If you aren't getting your 10 to 12 vegetables, and I just didn't see myself getting those in. My mom was a single mom, and we grew up eating corn and mashed potatoes. So it took me a while to like vegetables. I only liked iceberg lettuce. So I used the greens twice a day in the beginning of my journey. Now my body and my palate has changed. And I actually like a lot of vegetables, but I still don't eat 10 to 12. And think about vegetables grow out of the ground and have phytonutrients, and they're giving you life, right? So dead foods like pasta and bread, even if it's whole wheat, pasta and bread, they're dead foods. They are keeping you alive. Live foods have phytonutrients and energy, and those are your vegetables, and that's where you're getting your calcium. You're actually getting a lot of quality protein out of your vegetables as well. So if you aren't getting those in your body, you need to supplement with them. That's what a supplement is. Not to replace it. It's just to supplement your diet, whatever that is. And you know yourself and what you're getting in. So when I talk to people about bowel movements, it's important that you're having at least one quality bowel movement a day, and with a large bulk of stool. But if you miss, when I travel, even just driving in the car for 4 hours and then eating food that I don't normally eat, my system just shuts down. But even when I'm on vacation, that happens all the time. I don't want to be all bloated. And I used to pack Tums in my suitcase was the first thing that went in. So I knew I was going to have digestive challenges when I traveled and was on vacation. But now I just bring my aloe tabs with me, because if I miss a day without a bowel movement, aloe, the plant is thick and gooey. And you just take one. I'll take one after dinner, and then it will just ensure the next morning that I'm back in balance. It's not an event. It just gets things moving again, because I used to go 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, right? And then I, was so bloated and had no energy and didn't want to eat. And when you're holding waste in your body, it's toxic. That's what causes cancer. It reabsorbs in your system. It's so unhealthy for you. And, so many children have digestive challenges, and they're putting them on things like Miralax and things like that. And that is making it so your colon is a muscle, like I said, and you have peristalsis. So that's the other thing that our cleanse kit does, the herbs in the cleanse. It's not just about getting out what doesn't belong there. We want to get your body back to doing what it's supposed to be doing. So it helps to strengthen the arterial walls of the colon to get your peristalsis back, because your colon will stretch out the muscle and it forms a pocket, and then you'll remove the waste. But if you don't strengthen up that colon, it'll just that pocket will just fill up again. It'll be 2 or 3 days before you have, and it's just a cycle for people where they're like, okay, so every 3 days I take Miralax or something, but your muscle is never strengthening. So we want to get everything back in balance. Instead of antacids, now if you're taking something prescription, I don't take people off prescription antacids. That's your health professional's job. But you can go in with every meal with digestive enzymes. Antacids take away your stomach acid, so that way your food is sitting there. If your midsection starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger, that means that your body's not breaking down something. Now, if your body's not breaking down fats, you're not only going to have digestive distress when you're taking antacids and things, then you're going to end up with high cholesterol, because cholesterol is just a buildup of fat in the arteries, right? Instead, you want to be taking something that's going to break your food down, give it more acid. I know it sounds counterproductive. That's why you're supposed to be drinking warm lemon water in the morning, drinking things like Bragg's vinegar, or things with prebiotics in it like kombucha. And things like that, sauerkraut, that are going to help your food break down. It has prebiotics in it, okay? But this has lipase to break down fat. So if someone has high cholesterol, I'm going to have them take digestive enzymes with every meal. They taste like Gatorade. You just mix them in your water. But if your body's not breaking down protein, if you're not building muscle, easily, maybe you aren't absorbing your protein. If I eat a steak late at night, I know it's hard. I already have digestive challenges, and I don't want my body digesting food while it's trying to sleep, because you're supposed to be repairing and rebuilding when you sleep. So I'll always take enzymes if we're at Longhorn or something, and just to make sure that that red meat is getting broken down, or if I have a burger without a bun. This has cellulase to break down vegetables. So even though vegetables have enzymes in them, a lot of times when we're having people eat a lot more vegetables than they're used to, they can get gas and bloating For me, eggplant and broccoli are troublemakers. So it has cellulase that's going to help break down the vegetables to make sure you're breaking them down and absorbing the nutrients. These are something good to try. Whenever I'm traveling and I can't control the ingredients in my food, these also have quality probiotics in them. So that's why I don't take my probiotics separately, because a lot of probiotics that are on the market, and people think they're getting enough in their yogurts and things, and you aren't. You need quality probiotics with patented live bac, so it's live bacteria, and that's in our fiber powder, it's in our enzymes. And the last thing in the digestive health line is Ultimate Aloe. You know how I said the aloe tabs have laxative properties to them because aloe is thick and gooey? This comes in different flavors, strawberry kiwi, but what aloe does, just like it heals a burn on the outside of your skin, you know how people put aloe on a burn? This, we have an inside skin. So whenever I'm working with someone who has acid reflux, that's burning, right? It's burning your esophagus. That's what causes Barrett's disease. People with ulcers, they have burned a hole in their stomach, so the acid is spilling out into their system. Aloe will go in and heal a burn. If I'm working with a chemotherapy patient in a health professional office, because radiation, chemo, that all burns the inside of the body and it lowers your immune system. So aloe alkalizes your body and helps to increase your immune system. And because the laxative properties are removed on this, if you feel like a tickle or a cold coming on, you can kill a bottle of aloe in 24 hours. If you actually get sick after that, because this is antiviral, if it's, and an antibiotic does not work on a virus, aloe does, go get an antibiotic. If you drink a bottle of aloe and you still get sick, you probably need an antibiotic. Sleep, I don't know if people had sleep on there. I know that's something that I've struggled with. Is it on there, Carly?
Wasn't a pipeline.
No sleep. Okay.
But I know someone who's interested in it.
Okay. Well, you know, like I said, sleep is when your body repairs and rebuilds itself. So if you aren't getting quality sleep, and I work with so many menopausal women who aren't getting quality sleep, and they're told, well, that's what happens when you're perimenopausal. Well, you can be in perimenopausal for 10 years. Are you going to go with no sleep for 10 years? You want your body repairing and rebuilding itself, but that happens earlier in the day. One of the products that I use for that is our adrenal cortisol thyroid stress product. I take it after breakfast. That's when my stress starts. I used to think I managed my stress well, but what this does is adaptogenic herbs. So if stress heightens you, it brings you back to normal. If stress lowers you, it brings you up. So if you get depression or anxiety, I have some people who take both medications. This is going to bring you back in balance. I actually pair Axe with activated bees because activated bees bring your body back in balance as well as far as neurotransmitters in the brain, because all of that all day long. Then you get home, even if you've exercised, exercise does help with sleep, but then you're just like thinking, right? The only way I can, this is how Axe makes me feel. So instead of reacting, if you're snippy all the time, sometimes you'll get that way if you're hangry. That's also a sign you might be hungry in the afternoon. But it just better cognitive function. So people who have highly stimulated jobs, my teachers, my nurses who have to be on point, right? Axe right after breakfast. If you feel, when I public speak to large groups, I take Axe a couple of times a day, because if you start feeling in the afternoon that you just can't control what's coming at you, Axe will just give you that evenness, and it helps to stabilize insulin levels, because a lot of times I'm not eating enough in the afternoon, so that's where I'll drop in the afternoon. But in the morning, in the morning I feel heightened for what's coming at me in the day. In the evening, I might feel heightened of what I didn't get done and what I have to do tomorrow, right? And that all affects your sleep. So it just, that even cognitive function, all natural adaptogenic herbs. And then, of course, protein powders. If you are skipping meals or missing meals, that's what a protein supplement is for, because you should be getting your goal weight in grams of protein a day, okay? Because if you aren't fueling your muscle enough to grow, then that comes from protein. And protein is the building block to muscles, along with instantized branched chain amino acids. If you're staying sore too long, I know feeling sore feels good, but if you're staying sore too long, then your body is not repairing and rebuilding. So that's why the Whey Shake packets not only have 21 grams of hormone-free protein, but they also have instantized branched chain amino acids that are going to fuel your muscle. So, and then we have a couple coffee replacements. I know people are attached to their coffee, but we actually have a trim cafe that helps to lower inflammation levels. That is caused by adiponectin. All of those hormones are found in your midsection belly fat, just like with the ACTs. The stress hormone is cortisol, found in your midsection belly fat. So that's the problem when your hormones start getting out of balance. They're screaming at you. We used to say that fat is not metabolically active because it takes nothing to live, right? But really, it's full of hormones. So when those hormones are screaming at you, like the leptin and ghrelin saying, feed me, feed me, feed me, and then you think you're an out of control person, you have to get those hormones signaling right. So the Trim Cafe is like a cup of coffee, and it tastes like coffee. It's made from Colombian coffee, but it's healthy. It's not acidic like coffee. The Mocha Tonics actually tastes like hot cocoa. I put a couple drops of mint in it, has activated bees in it, so it helps me get focused in the morning as well, and stabilizes my insulin levels because I tend to not eat enough in the morning. And some people are tea drinkers, so this is a black tea, has 21 grams of caffeine like black tea does, so it's like a decaffeinated cup of coffee. I can't have caffeine in the afternoon anymore because it would keep me up all night. Now that I have my energy back, and I take turn down before I go to bed because that magnesium, just like a warm cup of milk that your grandparents used to tell you to drink, it just washes over you. You drink it with 8 ounces of water, and then you feel, calm enough and so relaxed enough so you can sleep. So, I think that's everything that we were going over. Did I miss something that someone wanted to hear about? No?
One thing is vitamins over 50 for women.
Mm-hmm. Women's health. That's what I would go with. Yeah. This is the first thing I would start with. Really, with everyone, I would start with a daily essential for men or women's health for women. Let's just bridge all those main gaps that are essential nutrients and see how you feel. Also, making sure your vitamin D. So that's why this is in the essential line. So this is where I would start with anyone. If you have known digestive challenges, I would start there, because then we're gonna decrease the inflammation and get your absorption going. But I would pair that with a daily essential just to make sure that you're absorbing things even.
What is in coffee that helps you have that bowel movements?
Well, caffeine will stimulate a bowel movement. It's just the acidity of the coffee that's not good for you, that's leaching the calcium from your bones. So having, people think caffeine is bad. It's not the caffeine in coffee that's bad. It's the acidity, because coffee is roasted, and that makes it acidic. There's actually great health properties in coffee. Chlorogenic acids are great for you, but by the time you roast coffee, unroasted coffee beans, we have a product called green coffee, Garcinia cambogia, which is a fat burner. But that is made from unroasted beans, and you take it in a pill because unroasted beans, they're not palatable. You wouldn't drink it. So part of what I like with my morning coffee, also that warmth, I like my hot steamy mug. So I don't take thermochrome in the morning, or I want to drink something. It's a habit. It makes me feel good. I write my journal in the morning. I will read some scripture, and I just like that, So that's where I tell people, just keep your habits, just replace it with something that's adding value to you instead of taking away. Just try something for 30 days. And that's really what I've done with myself. It's like peeling an onion to your idea of what your optimal health looks like for you. So, and you know what the great thing is? That will change over time, because I never thought that I could feel as good as I feel at age 50, because I had, challenges in my 20s, which weren't diagnosed, so I didn't know they were challenges, with my digestion, and I never felt great. But, that's where go in and figure yourself out. And this is the problem. What happens is, my clients are like, I'm going to get my yearly checkup. I'm praying. Nothing is wrong with me. Well, God is good. But what have you done to figure yourself out? Because everybody's individual. Just like kids in school, they're putting them in a box. We are all individual, and we have different things that make us thrive, even food-wise. I don't push. I'll give someone, a whole food list. I want my clients eating whole foods, protein and fiber at every meal, so protein and vegetables, spices, let's keep it real, and see how your body responds. But then you're going to figure out how much protein makes you feel good, and how many vegetables, and even your sleep at night. Drink half your body weight in ounces of water, because you actually, if you drink coffee, you have to drink even more water, because it dehydrates you so much. So people are walking around dehydrated, and now your food's not breaking down, and you don't have energy, and then you're drinking more coffee, which dehydrates you more, right? That's what I was doing. So that caused my osteopenia as well.
What about people if you take laxatives?
And laxatives, they serve a purpose. If you haven't gone for 3 or 4 days, you have got to get that fecal matter out of you. But your colon, your peristalsis isn't coming back, so you're going to have to live on laxatives. And that's why I get so angry that they're starting kids at such a young age. Now that colon muscle is just weakening, and they're not going to have any peristalsis. So we have to get to the root cause of what's going on with your body and causing that. And gluten and dairy are usually troublemakers. So, but that's where I would do the 7-day cleanse, because those herbs, it's not only removing the bad, but it's also going in, replacing prebiotics and probiotics, getting out glutamine for your muscles, even your colon muscle, right? And then the herbs that are going to help repair that peristalsis and get that back. So, yeah.
What about anti-aging?
And, we call that now age management. They don't want to call it anti-aging in the health field, because we're all aging, right? So, but that's the thing. When we start, we all have inflammation in our body. But if you're walking around with aches and pains all the time, you feel old, right? You feel limited. I don't want to feel limited in my life. There's certain things that I think are more risky, like when people are doing things like my ankles are weak, right? I'm not going to do a Tough Mudder and things like that are thrill things for people. I just want quality of life. So for me, anti-aging is having energy to live my day, and to be able to do what I want when I want, right? And just feeling good, having good digestion, having quality sleep, waking up feeling energized, not tired. So I don't want dread in my life. That's what I used to have when I had no energy. So that's where I talk about energy, but I keep people away from the stimulant energy, except that once in the morning, because I want to go in with food, because food is going to energize your body and repair and rebuild it, and nutrients. Secretagogue, yeah, that's a great product as well. If you really are not, it's more expensive. It's quality amino acids. It has your magnesium in it to help you sleep at night. It stimulates your natural, what's the word?
HGH.
Oh yeah, HGH, human growth hormone, right? Our human growth hormone goes down as we age. It is not human growth hormone. It stimulates your own. Your human growth hormone is highest post-workout and right before you go to bed. So the secretagogue is powerful amino acids, and it also has magnesium. I will drink that before I go to bed sometimes but you have to, that is something that you cycle for a month, because it's that powerful, because we want to stimulate your own human growth hormone. And that's what young people have a lot of, and athletes have a lot of, and that lowers as well. So that would be something instead of the turn down before bed, trying the secretagogue. Yep.
Okay, I have ulcerative colitis that is
Yeah.
in remission right now.
Okay.
So, and I also have an ulcer.
Okay. Yep.
Like many things.
Yeah. Well, ulcer comes first. Ulcerative colitis
Yeah,
is
and
a
I have a
further.
lot of the heartburn.
Yes. It
At
usually
night,
starts. Yeah.
And I have a hard time digesting vegetables.
Yes. Yep. So with someone with ulcerative colitis or a further digestive challenge, we're going to cook your vegetables more. They're going to be softer. So they're still going to have fiber, but we don't want to irritate and cause inflammation. That's where the fiber powder, because it has 9 grams of non-abrasive insoluble fiber, the prebiotics and probiotics, and the L-glutamine, which you need. That's where I would stay with you with the digestive line. Aloe, it will soothe that burn right away. So if you feel that burning, drink your aloe. If most people get their acid reflux at night because you go from here to laying down, now your pyloric valve opens up and the acid comes off your tube. So I mix the aloe right in with my digestive enzymes, within 10 minutes, that burning will go away. And it works immediately, and it's all natural. But not taking away your stomach acid, because that is going to cause high cholesterol, depression, because you're not getting the good fats to your brain. So it just causes a downward spiral and more medications. Yeah. So, but when you're in remission, that's where I would go in with a 7-day cleanse.
I've done that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good. Because really, it's about just getting that healing on its own and getting your body alkalized. Because cancer can't grow in an alkaline state. So if you have inflammation, you're not alkaline, right? So that's why it's so important also to lower inflammation in your body, not mask it. And if you have inflammation, I don't want you taking painkillers before you work out, because then you won't feel it. You won't feel what's going on, right? So I want you to feel everything. You want to be feeling things when you're working out. And so if your knee hurts, you need to feel it. If you took an Advil or something before you train, and then you don't feel the pain, and you're pushing that knee and pushing that knee, and then of course you can't sleep later. Pain medications are to help you sleep, okay? So if you're going to take one, not in your everyday life when you're doing things because you want to feel what's being done wrong, you want to take it to help you sleep before you go to bed, because that's when your body repairs and rebuilds itself.
Is there any pills in the women's health? Because I'm leery of taking, because 2 years ago I had an esophagus repair
Right.
from acid reflux.
Yeah. So
I still have stomach issues.
So yeah, it's not pills. It's a packet of powder, and you mix it with 8 ounces of water first thing in the morning.
So the aloe would help with that?
The aloe would help with that. Yeah, it would. Aloe heals the burn. Yeah. So it's enzymes too. Aloe and enzymes.
My stomach doesn't, I don't think it digests the same since
Yeah.
the surgery.
Yeah, it might not. I mean, you probably had a challenge with it anyway.
Well, I had a hernia and a esophagus repair because my esophagus was damaged from all the acid reflux.
Yes. So aloe and enzymes would just be something, as like,
To help heal.
yeah.
Because
It would just be a daily thing for me. It is a daily thing for me. I never had those further health jump, but I don't want them. So if we can go back more in with preventative instead of what we tend to do in healthcare, it's sick care. We
Well,
tend
yeah.
to treat when it's sick.
When I go back, he's like, well, you still need to take the purple pill. I'm not taking the purple pill anymore.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
This is what caused my damage.
Right.
I'm not doing it.
But that's where we're going with aloe and enzymes, which are natural, and they're just going to help your body do what it's supposed to be doing on its own.
Two items: sleep apnea
Mm-hmm.
and cholesterol. Statin drugs, and I've gotten off the diet and all the rest.
Okay,
of it.
good.
Other things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, again, inflammation, it causes that constricting with that sleep apnea. And high cholesterol is inflammation in your body as well. So, 3 caps of OPC, omega-3s, and I actually take my omegas twice a day for pain mediation, and which it's not the pain, but it's the inflammation. And curcumin is something else that I use for that. Curcumin is one of the most powerful antioxidants. When you pair it with OPC and omegas, now if someone takes omegas and they feel like they burp it back, fish all day, then you need digestive enzymes. You just aren't breaking down that fat, right? So, but curcumin drives everything right into the cell, and that also will help regenerate liver cells. It's the only nutraceutical that helps to regenerate liver cells. But let me say one more thing. If you're taking a statin drug, they have been trying to push a statin drug through the FDA with CoQ10 in it. Hopefully your health professional has told you if you're taking a statin. CoQ10 is an antioxidant that fuels the little capillaries around your heart and the mitochondria around your heart. More people are dying from taking statin drugs from heart attacks than high cholesterol because statin drugs deplete CoQ10 in your system.
So I'm gonna get off of it. That was the things I stopped a couple
Mhm.
years ago.
Right. So, and here's the thing, like, they go into good, it's a whole seminar, good cholesterol, bad cholesterol. We need cholesterol in our body. Like I said, our brain, fat is made of 80% fat. It helps us think and process, it lowers inflammation. So, they've given cholesterol a bad rap. You don't get high cholesterol from eggs. You get high cholesterol from over-consuming sugar that turns into fat, and that is why we have, they call it non-alcoholic fatty liver disease now, because your liver can only take in so much sugar and process it. We're over-consuming sugar, and it turns into fat. So it's not eggs that are giving you, actually fat burns fat. So we need more good fats. That's why you see a lot of doctors, where they used to say Atkins diet, now they're talking about keto diets and things. But I don't want you removing carbohydrates. Just eat good quality carbohydrates, vegetables, because they're energy, right? So just get a healthy balance. Getting off that statin drug is good, and then just keep those daily habits, which are doing more things. Good thing, because what exercise does is it heats up the head. Your fat is sitting like lard, and so you heat up the fat, and then we want to move it on out of your body. So, yeah, awesome. All right. Well, thanks for coming, you guys. Did I answer everyone's questions? Wasn't this better than like going to a parade? You have another question? Okay. The green coffee, Garcinia Cambogia. Yeah.
What product do you have that has that?
We have a green coffee, Garcinia Cambogia. It's in our TLS line. I don't know if Daryl has any of that over there, but we call it GCGC for short.
Yeah, we have some.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's what you suggest for belly loss?
Yeah, that helps with midsection belly fat. So does our core. Actually, any because all of those hormones I talked about, so any other, just think about which one is your biggest challenge. Is it cortisol from stress? I would recommend the Axe, because that'll help decrease that belly fat there. Thermochrome would be a great fat burner, burns brown fat, and that would be your coffee replacement. It will, it still has a guarana in it, and caffeine, activated bees. CLA bursts fat cells in the midsection, but this is a 6-month study because it's going to prevent new fat cells from reforming, which that happens over time.
What was that?
The
The last one?
CLA, conjugated linoleic acid, is found in red meat, grass-fed animals, but we just aren't getting the natural CLA. So it's a good oil, a good fat, and it actually bursts fat cells. So when people get down to that last 10 pounds or something and they just can't get rid of that muffin top, we'll go into the CLA. It works better with exercise. Come here.